See, Maine, a forgotten small town on the edge of nothing. Present day. Mercy wasn't on any map that mattered. It sat 20 miles inland from the coast, surrounded by pine woods that got thick and dark in the fall, and snow that came early and left late. There was one gas station, one high school, one diner that hadn't updated its jukebox since 1983. The people were tough, quiet, and didn't like outsiders much. But in June of that year, the year the boy disappeared, everything changed. It started with the cold. The first week of June should have brought warm nights, fireflies, and mosquito bites. Instead, the temperature dipped into the 30s. The grass turned gray with frost in the mornings. Birds stopped singing. The air had a stillness to it, like something was holding its breath. Sheriff Carla Dwyer noticed it first. Not just the cold, but the quiet. Deer stopped showing up on trail cams. A kid's dog went missing from a locked backyard. No howls. No blood. Just gone. And then there was Evan Rourke, 15, last seen riding his bike home from band practice. They found the bike in Dead Man's Hollow 3 days later, rusted over like it had been lying there 20 years. People started whispering about the house at the edge of the woods. It had been empty for decades. Old colonial thing, white paint peeled off like dead skin, windows blacked out with thick curtains. Some said it had been a tuberculosis sanatorium. Others said it was used during Prohibition. No one really knew. It just sat there, a bad tooth in the gums of the town. And now someone had moved in. The new occupant was a man named Mr. Greaves. Tall, pale, always wore gloves even in summer. He drove a hearse black Lincoln with plates from out of state. He shopped at the corner store right before sunset and paid in crisp $100 bills. The clerk said he smelled like cold ashes. It wasn't long before more kids started getting sick. They didn't have fevers, just paleness, exhaustion, strange bruises around the neck. Their parents said they were just being lazy. Carla wasn't so sure. The kids wouldn't talk. They stared at their hands like they weren't sure they belonged to them anymore. And at night, people heard things. High-pitched keening from the trees. Something scratching the rooftops. Shadows that passed in front of windows without footsteps. One man, old Benny Clay, said he saw Evan on his porch just after midnight. Evan was barefoot, smiling too wide. And his eyes, Benny swore, were jet black. Carla went to the house. She told herself it was just a routine check, trespassing complaints. But her gun felt too light on her hip. Her footsteps sounded too loud on the gravel. Greaves answered the door. He didn't smile. Didn't blink much. Invited her in with the kind of politeness that set your teeth on edge. The inside of the house was freezing. Dark. No furniture. Just books, floor to ceiling, and candles that burned blue. She asked about the missing boy. He offered her tea. She left 10 minutes later with no answers, her hands trembling. She didn't remember what they talked about. But for the next 2 nights, she dreamed of black water and broken teeth. The breaking point came on June 17th. The sun didn't rise. Not really. Just stayed a weird reddish gray all day, like the sky had been rubbed raw. Power flickered all over town. The air smelled like pennies and rotting leaves. And then the kids stopped waking up. 9 of them. All in a coma. No injuries. No explanation. Just lying in bed, their eyes open, their mouths slightly parted like they were whispering to something no one else could hear. One of the mothers said her daughter had written the word mercy in blood on her bedsheet the night before. Carla and a few others, her deputy, the town priest, a retired army vet, decided enough was enough. They went back to the house. This time they didn't knock. They found a basement hidden beneath the floorboards. Inside were beds, 9 of them, each one filled with a child from the town, pale, unmoving, their throats faintly pulsing with shadow. Greaves was waiting in the center of the room, reading from an old black book bound in skin. "You misunderstand," he said softly. "I didn't steal them. I awakened them." Carla shot him in the chest. He didn't flinch. She emptied the clip. He smiled. The priest tried to recite scripture, but the words turned to dust on his tongue. The vet lit a Molotov and threw it, but the flames bent in the air as if afraid. Greaves stepped forward, mouth opening wider than any man's ever should. Carla doesn't remember how they escaped. She woke in the hospital with burns down her side and 2 fewer people than when they'd entered the house. The town buried the missing quietly, no ceremony. The house is gone now, burned flat. But sometimes people say they see the Lincoln, just past the tree line, still idling, waiting. The children who woke never speak of what they saw, but they do not sleep. Not really. They all keep black umbrellas in their rooms even when it's sunny. And when asked what they remember, they all say the same thing. He's still here. He just needed to feed.